Welcome in Pediatric Lecture Series. I am Dr. Sunil Nathamaske, working as a Dean and Professor in Pediatrics in Dr. Vitthal Vikhe Patil Foundation's Medical College and Hospital, Ahmednagar. This is the 16th lecture of this series, and it is very common condition related with the kidney in children is the glomerulonephritis. In glomerulonephritis, acute glomerulonephritis is of the common condition. So glomerulonephritis is an inflammation of glomeruli of the kidney. This glomerulonephritis may be acute, chronic, or rapidly progressive. And the symptoms and signs of this disease was first described by English physician Richard Bright in 1827, on memory of whom this glomerulonephritis is named as Bright's disease. Classification of glomerulonephritis in children. It may be acute, which is very common in children. It may be acute post-infectious or acute glomerulonephritis associated with systemic disorder, that is secondary type. It may be chronic glomerulonephritis or rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis. Now we are going to see the acute glomerulonephritis. It is also known as post-streptococcal acute glomerulonephritis. It is the immune-mediated inflammation of the glomerulus, commonly occurs in children in the age group of 2 to 12 years. Children have streptococcal pharyngitis or skin infection in the form of impetigo 5 to 21 days before the glomerulonephritis manifestation. Commonly, this acute glomerulonephritis is caused by organism Streptococcus pyogenes infection. It is common in the ratio of 6 to 20 in 1 lakh of in Western countries. There are certain risk factors, though this condition is immunomediated. Boys are frequently prone for this AGN. Then lower hygienic standards, malnutrition, and in sometimes genetic predisposition. Nephritogenetic beta hemolytic streptococcus of group A type M12 and 49 are the main causative agents. Now, pathophysiology of acute glomerulonephritis. Just we have seen it is caused by Streptococcus pyogenes, which produces the antigens in the form of NSAP streptokinase. It is a nephritogen strains associated with protein. Next antigen is M protein and is endostreptocin. These three antigens, which are binded by the specific antibodies, and these antigen-antibody complexes are blocking the capillaries of the glomerulus in the form of deposits. Also, this is mediated by activation of complement system also. Finally, it leads to proliferative glomerulonephritis with decreased glomerular filtration, higher natrium reabsorption in the tubules, which leads to the edema, and increased renin secretion, which causes hypertension in children with glomerulonephritis. In short, pathogenesis of this AGN, where there is an inflammation in the glomeruli initially, which is leading to the injury to the glomerulus, which leads to the inflamed glomerular capillaries, which may cause mild hematuria or proteinuria, also leads to the accumulation of cells causing blockage. All these three mechanisms causes the decreased glomerular filtration rate, and this decreased GFR manifest in the form of hypertension, oliguria, edema, or mild azotemia. This acute glomerulonephritis presents clinically in the form of edema, which is very common. Near about 75% of the children manifest with edema. It is acute in onset, mild to moderate in severity, and the characteristic of this edema is it is pitting type, which starts in the eyelids and spreads slowly to the face, lower and upper limbs, and then become generalized in the form of hydrocele, ascites, pericardial, and pleural effusion. In some cases, this edema may be migratory. That means it appears in the eyelid in the morning, disappear in the afternoon, and again reappear around the ankle in the ambulant patient by the end of the day. Along with this edema, many of the patients, near about 65% of the children has gross hematuria, and by naked eye, the urine appears tea-colored or cola-colored. It is very, very characteristic of the acute glomerulonephritis. In 50% of the children develop the hypertension. Some of also manifest in the form of acute renal insufficiency, oliguria, that means urine output is less than 400 ml per day or 0.5 ml per hour per day. Also, general symptoms may be there like fever, pallor, headache, malaise, anorexia, nausea, and vomiting. There are certain illnesses which triggers acute glomerulonephritis. These are the streptococcal throat infections, systemic lupus erythematosus, in short called as lupus, Wood-Fasters syndrome. It is a rare autoimmune disease in which antibodies attacks the kidney and lungs. Amyloidosis, where abnormal protein harms the organs and tissues. Granulomatosis with polyangiitis, also known as Wegener's granulomatosis. In this case, there is inflammation of the blood vessels. Next condition which aggravates the acute glomerulonephritis is polyarteritis nodosa, where there is a disease of the arteries. And some of the times we use a heavy dose of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen and naproxen also triggers the acute glomerulonephritis. Though chronic glomerulonephritis is not common in children, in short, we will see about that. It develops over several years with no or very few symptoms. Chronic glomerulonephritis causes irreversible damage to kidney and ultimately lead to the kidney failure. It does not have underlying cause. Sometimes it may be hereditary. It may be immunological. There may be a history of malignancy. Sometimes there is exposure to hydrocarbon solvents, or rarely acute form of glomerulonephritis may convert into the chronic glomerulonephritis in later life. And this chronic glomerulonephritis may manifest in the form of proteinuria, hematuria, hypertension, swelling in the ankles or a face, frequent urination in the night, abdominal pain, and frequent nosebleeds. Now, we have seen the clinical features of acute and chronic glomerulonephritis. Now we will see the diagnosis of acute glomerulonephritis. The mainstay of assessment of acute glomerulonephritis is the urine assessment. First, you will notice the hematuria, that means red blood cells in the urine. Urine color is typically tea colored or coke color, or sometimes called as smoky colored. And this urine color is uniform throughout the stream. Mild to moderate proteinuria, that is 1 to 2 plus, may be seen in the urine. Urine is highly concentrated. There may be presence of the cast, and along with these things, you have to do the urine culture, creatinine clearance, urine specific gravity, and urine osmolality estimation. After urine examination, next important parameter to be tested in acute glomerulonephritis is the blood examination. In that blood, you have to see the elevated creatinine, ASO antibodies, reduced serum C3 level, elevated IgG and IgM antibodies, anemia because of hemodilution, abnormal albumin levels, increased ESR, and blood urea is also increased. Along with this blood estimation, you can see the immunologically anti-glomerular basement membrane antibodies, anti-neutrophil cytoplasmic antibodies, anti-nuclear antibodies, and raised complement level. With these three, urine, blood, and complement immunology, you can do the CT scan of the kidney ultrasound shown in the figure, chest X-ray, and intravenous pyelography. Renal biopsy is ideally not indicated in acute glomerulonephritis. It may be indicated in chronic or persistent progressive type. In short, we'll see the hematuria in children. Hematuria means the red blood cells which are present in the urine. Normally, urine does not contain any red blood cell because the filters in the kidney prevent the blood from entering the urine. In hematuria, these filters or other parts of urinary tract allow the blood to leak into the urine. This hematuria may be gross or microscopic. In gross hematuria, where urine appears red and the color of the tea or cola colored, like we have seen in the acute glomerulonephritis. In microscopic hematuria, you will see the red blood cells under microscope only, where RBC of more than 5 per microliter in a fresh uncentrifuged midstream urine specimen, or more than 3 RBC per high power field in centrifuge sediment from 10 ml of freshly voided midstream urine. Then and then only it is called as microscopic hematuria. The causes are divided according to various regions. Commonly, it is glomerular disease like recurrent gross hematuria seen in IgA nephropathy, benign familial hematuria or Alport syndrome, acute forced streptococcal glomerulonephritis, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, systemic lupus erythematosus, membranous nephropathy, rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis, Hanoch-Scollin purpura, and Goldfascher's disease. These are the glomerular causes of hematuria. Sometimes it may be interstitial or tubular in diseases like acute pyelonephritis, acute interstitial nephritis, and tuberculosis. Some of the hematological causes like sickle cell disease, coagulopathies, von Willebrand disease, renal vein thrombosis, and thrombocytopenia can give rise to the hematuria in children. Also, along with this, urinary tract infection with bacteria or virus, nephrolithiasis, hypercalciuria, congenital anomalies, and polycystic kidney disease, trauma, tumors, or due to heavy exercise, you can get the hematuria. And last but not least, certain medications like aminoglycosides, amitriptyline, anticonvulsants, aspirin, chlorpromazine, comedine, cyclophosphamide, diuretics, penicillin, and throzine also causes the hematuria. Roughly, in children with renal disorders, we come across with these two conditions like nephrotic syndrome and acute glomerulonephritis. So a few of the differentiating points between two are, you will see the proteinuria, hypoalbuminemia, edema, hypovolemia, and 2 to 7 years with males in nephrotic syndrome. Whereas in glomerulonephritis, you can see the hematuria, hypertension in school-age boys. Nephrotic syndrome causes idiopathic, maybe glomerular or congenital. In glomerulonephritis, it may be primary and mostly following the streptococcal infection. In nephrotic syndrome, there are glomerular changes where the membrane damage causes permeability to protein or albumin. That's why there is a proteinuria. In glomerulonephritis, there is immune complex occluding glomeruli. In nephrotic syndrome, there is a weight gain, fatigue, edema, and decreased urine output. Whereas in glomerulonephritis, compared to nephrotic syndrome, edema is less, urine is coca-colored or tea-colored, and child is lethargic. Treatment of nephrotic syndrome is mostly with the corticosteroids. Whereas in glomerulonephritis, treatment mainstay is antihypertensive, diuretics, and proper antibiotics. Prognosis of nephrotic syndrome in 80% favorable, rest of it is relapse occurs. Whereas acute glomerulonephritis, prognosis is very good and recurrence occurs very rarely. Differential diagnosis. Differential diagnosis is urinary syndrome like acute pyelonephritis, activation of primary chronic glomerulonephritis, toxic nephritis, Gould-Fashers syndrome, hereditary nephritis, Alpert syndrome, or it may be differentiated from nephrotic syndrome from amyloidosis, diabetic nephropathy, collagenous nephropathy, or hematuric components like malignancy-associated nephritis, urotuberculosis, or renal stones. Now, very important component in acute glomerulonephritis is the management. Management of acute glomerulonephritis falls with the following heading. First, you have to admit the child in hospital, monitor his blood pressure and urine output, then check the weight record daily, monitor for blood urea, creatinine, sodium, and potassium, give the antihypertensive drugs, restrict the fluid intake till urine output improves, intake of salt, it should be restricted, avoid intake of substances which contain the high potassium like fruits, tender coconut, etc. And a course of appropriate antibiotic is given to eradicate the infection. Now, this acute glomerulonephritis gives rise to the complications like acute or chronic kidney disease, electrolyte imbalance because of high levels of sodium and potassium, chronic urinary tract infection, congestive heart failure due to retained fluid or fluid overload, pulmonary edema is again due to retained fluid or fluid overload, high blood pressure, sometimes malignant hypertension is seen in children with acute glomerulonephritis, and there is an increased risk of infection. Lastly, the prognosis of this acute glomerulonephritis. Early acute glomerulonephritis, it is temporary and reversible, whereas chronic glomerulonephritis can be slowed with early treatment. In case of acute glomerulonephritis, there is a complete remission in 95% of the cases. Only 5% of all these cases can progress to end-stage renal disease. But in short, child with acute glomerulonephritis with early detection and proper treatment, the prognosis is very good and relapse chances are very, very less. Thank you.